Now, this case occurred on July 16th of 2014 between 9:30 and 10 o'clock in the evening. It occurred in the area of 129 Pinckney Street here in the city of Chester. It was investigated by the Chester Police Department and I think with some assistance from the State Law Enforcement Division. The victim in the case, Your Honor, is Shaquem D'Angelo Kennedy, who at the time was 16 years old. City got a call that somebody had been shot, responded to the scene, found Mr. Kennedy in the street, lying face down in the roadway in front of 129 Pinckney Street. He was determined to be deceased. An autopsy was performed. It was determined that he died of a single gunshot wound to the chest. Your Honor, the autopsy resulted in the recovery of a fired bullet. As you'll hear later on, a firearm was recovered, which we believe to be the murder weapon, and it is at SLED, and we are awaiting ballistic testing. Your Honor, Mr. Graham became a suspect in this case based on information gathered by the City Police Department, including some videotape taken from a location or two here in the city, which showed him in the general vicinity. There was some clothing that was pretty distinctly seen on the videotape. Officers went to his mama's house, and again, probation, I think, was trying to serve a probation violation warrant on him. When they got to the house, he was not there. His mom was. She let them search, and they recovered some clothing, which I think is also being tested. Mr. Graham was found sometime after that, taken into custody, was questioned by the police, and in fact gave one or more statements admitting that he shot Mr. Kennedy in the street out there. His written statement is pretty brief. I will quote a couple of things from the written statement. Bear with me just 1 second. He said in the written statement, Your Honor, which was given on 7/18/14, I believe the day of his arrest, he was walking, he saw somebody, the two of them exchanged words. He said, "What's up?" And he said that the other fellow pushed him. I think in his statement he said he pushed him back. He said that the other fellow started reaching, and he pulled out his gun and shot. There is no indication from the investigation at all that young Mr. Kennedy was armed with a firearm or any other type of weapon during this incident. Mr. Graham gave recorded statements subsequent to that, and in those recorded statements, I think, claimed association with the Roundtree Circle group, which we believe to be gang activity, talked about Mr. Kennedy and his boys riding around in a white car, talked about Mr. Kennedy and his boys talking trash about the Roundtree Circle fellas. Basically, the gist of what he says is, if you want to read it this way, is that he shot because he was just tired of them talking about him and his boys. He did not give anything beyond the words back and forth, and at best a push from the other fellow, which even remotely justifies him pulling out a pistol and shooting. And I believe he was 17 when this happened. I think he's turned 18 now. He's been in the detention center since these events. There are victims' family members here who I would like to introduce to you at the appropriate time, and I think at least one of them would like to speak. The state opposes bond based on statements Mr. Graham made in his recorded statement talking about how he was going to prison for this. He's got no reason to hang around here anyway. We obviously believe that he's a danger to the community because, of course, this is not the trial, but he's given a statement admitting pulling out a pistol that he should never have had in the first place and shooting the young man in the street here in the city of Chester. Thank you.
All right, Your Honor, obviously it's not the time to try the case. I will tell you that our version of the facts is very different than what the solicitor indicates. I think there's a lot of work to be done in this case. My client's been in jail, has not asked for bond, and I inquired about bond up to now. But at some point, we need some resolution, and it seems like this is the appropriate time to ask for it. I would tell you that, let me tell you what I know about the evaluation. I would tell you that.
Didn't I sign that?
You did, Your Honor. They're backed up. I've got two folks waiting evaluation. I think his is the 26th. It's either the 26th or the 27th of January. And of course, the results of that can impact on the admissibility of any alleged confession or alleged statements involved. Your Honor, I'd ask you to consider allowing him a bond. I will tell you that this is it's not a complicated case from the standpoint of DNA or anything anything like that, but there are a number of witnesses that need to be interviewed. His being out on bond, being allowed to assist me in tracking people down would be helpful in that regard. I'd ask you to consider a bond in this matter. If the court, for some reason, felt that the bond was not appropriate at this matter, I would ask you to allow us within a certain period of time to renew our motion for a bond in the appropriate time. Thank you.
You know, I'm concerned with why this competency evaluation hasn't been done. You know, as I read the newspaper yesterday, Mrs. Dice here, read about Sixth Circuit, the backlog of cases. I mean, you know, many things go into the reason there's a backlog of cases. And, you know, I signed this order for evaluation back in August, and the Department of Mental Health has not done it yet. That's a concern. You know, SLED having to analyze evidence, that delays things. It's not all useless. Or Mr. Newman. And I understand that, I know that. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. All right. Having heard what I heard, I will deny bond. You know, if you need me to order anything else, Mr. Lynch, to get this competency evaluation done any sooner, let me know. I'll be glad to do that.